So I'm Philip Lamette. I started playing with these toys back in about 1995, I think, 94, 95, and got into endoscopy purely by accident because I employed a new graduate who just graduated from the RVC in London, and he was a fairly enthusiastic and cocky little sod, and about a month after I employed him, he said he wanted to do some CPD, and I said, yeah, that's fine, no problem at all. I said, we've got quite a good BSAVA region around here in Kent, and you can go up to London, it's only 20 minutes on the train. And he said, no, I want to go to the North American Veterinary Conference. I said, do you? That's very nice. The furthest I'd been was Birmingham by that stage. So I arranged for him to go. He took a holiday at the same time. He was very keen on exotics, so he was into snakes and lizards, iguanas, that sort of thing. And he went off to North American Veterinary Conference in Florida. And he rang me up in the middle of the afternoon surgery on the Monday. And I thought, oh no, what's he done now? And he rang up. I said, what's wrong, Steve? And he said, oh, nothing, it's all right. He said, nothing's wrong. He said, I've just been to this lecture. He said, you can't do exotics without an endoscope. We need an endoscope. I said, do we? I said, that's a very interesting use of the word we. He said, yes. He said, I can get one a bit cheaper over here. So I said, can you? Jolly good. So we ended up with our first 2.7 millimetre endoscope. And we used to do, at that stage we were doing more iguana spays a week than bitch spays. And we used to poke this thing into tortoises and snakes and iguanas and this, that and the other. And eventually he moved on. He's now the professor of exotics at Georgia in the States. And he left me with this kit, and I thought, well, you know, being a typical boss and relatively keen on keeping the pennies going, I thought, what can I use this for? So I hooked up with another guy from the States who was doing a peripatetic service doing endoscopy around Boston, and he used to fly over once a month, and we'd do some cases together, and I worked with a human laparoscopic surgeon to see what they were doing on the human laparoscopic side to try and pick up tips from there and see what we could translate onto dogs and cats, because I was more interested in dogs and cats than I was in exotics. So we ended up doing laparoscopy and thoracoscopy and rhinoscopy, cystoscopy, otoscopy and so on in dogs and cats. But today we're going to talk about, or today the next couple of days, we're going to talk a little bit about laparoscopy, and particularly laparoscopic spays. So this morning we're going to talk a little bit about instrumentation, a little bit about an introduction, a bit about history of laparoscopy in people and in animals. And then after coffee, well actually after lunch actually, because I think we started a bit later than I was anticipating today, so we're probably going to have lunch, a little bit early lunch at 12:30, and then we'll do a lap training practical with the dry lab, just to get used to using these strange long instruments within a two-dimensional environment. And then we're going to do some more on laparoscopic basic procedures, the approach to the abdomen, how we do basic procedures like biopsies and so on. And then we're going to have a practical with some cadavers later on this afternoon to actually put that into practice.